Hi, I'm Ashley and welcome to my channel. At the time of filming this video, it is Thursday, December 5th, which means that the year is almost over and the new year 2025 is almost here, which is crazy. But with a new year comes new books, and so in this video I'm going to be sharing with you 10 YA fantasy books that I'm excited for that are coming out next year in 2025. And there will be no sequels on this list, so these are just going to be books that are either the first book in the series or standalones. And I am going to talk about these in order of publication date from soonest to latest. So book number 1 comes out on February 4th, and it's The Beast We Bury by D.L. Taylor. And so this one is described as a dark YA romantasy about an heir to the throne who can summon an army of animals and a thief who plans to manipulate her to pull off a once-in-a-lifetime heist. So, just the fact that she can summon an army of animals makes me want to read it right away. So book number 2 on this list comes out on February 11th and is Where Shadows Bloom by Catherine Bakewell. So this is the author who wrote Flowerheart, and I read that book and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very whimsical, very fairy tale-like, and it definitely gave me Studio Ghibli vibes, so I am very interested to see what this new book is like. And from the description of it, it seems like it's also going to be whimsical and fairy tale-like because our two main characters are Ophelia and Lope. Ophelia has always dreamed of going to the mysterious court of this god-blessed king named Leo, whereas Lope is a knight, and as a knight she fights the shadow creatures that roam their lands. And it also seems that Lope has a crush on Ophelia, and the two of them are going to have to end up going on an adventure when the shadow monsters end up getting too close to their home. And so this book is described as pitting terrifying monsters, chilling secrets, capricious gods, immortal kings, and death itself against the unstoppable love between two girls. So book number 3 comes out on February 25th and is Unlock the Dark by Sasa. And this one is a standalone romantasy book, and our main character in this one is Elia, and she has magical powers, and when her magical powers are combined with the powers of her father, she is able to open a path to any location. But unfortunately her father is dying, so she ends up using her magic to keep her father alive. But because of this, Death himself feels cheated, and so in retaliation he ends up taking her brother as a servant. So in order to save her brother, she ends up accepting a dangerous quest from this prince, and this prince is described as being kind-hearted and always having his head in a book, which makes me like him already, even though I know nothing about him. And so the two of them set off on an adventure to find this legendary scroll, and along the way they are of course going to start to fall in love. Book number 4 also comes out on February 25th and is The Otherwhere Post by Emily J. Taylor. So this one is about a girl named Maeve who 7 years ago she lost everything. She lost her father, her home, and even her name. And apparently her father did something bad, so to escape his bad name, she ends up assuming a fake identity. But then at the start of the book, she ends up receiving a letter that just says your father is innocent, and that starts her on a search to uncover the truth. And to uncover the truth, she ends up becoming an apprentice for the Otherwhere Post. And as an apprentice, she'll end up learning this dangerous magic that allows her to enchant letters and send them to other worlds. However, unfortunately, her mentor begins to suspect that she is lying about who she is, and also she ends up receiving threatening letters that warn her to stop her investigation or else. So this one just also sounds really exciting, and the world and the magic system also sounds very fascinating, and I want to know more about it. Book number 5 comes out on March 4th and is The Scorpion and the Night Blossom by Amelie and Zhao. And first, I just need to mention how gorgeous this book looks. So the first edition of this book will have stenciled and sprayed edges and exclusive printed end papers in a foil stamped case. And so this one is described as, in a world at war with demons, one girl will face the ultimate test when she is forced to enter into an ancient, deadly competition for the chance to save her mother's soul before she loses her forever. It does say in the description that our main character, she knows how to fight, and she fights with crescent blades, and she is trained in the art of practicing. And while death is common in the trials, there ends up being someone that is helping her stay alive, and this person ends up being another rival contestant. And he, of course, is going to be our love interest, and he's powerful and handsome and we don't really know why he is helping her stay alive, but I'm sure we'll find out. And so this one just sounds like it's going to be full of action and adventure and high stakes and a fantastical world and also some romance, and those are all things that I love. So book number 6 also comes out on March 4th and is Dragon Curse by Elise Kova. So this is the first book in a series. And the publisher describes the story of this one as every teen in the final human stronghold of a blighted land is subject to brutal tests designed to separate the dragon hunters from the dragon curse, and one young woman, declared a hero reborn, must fight for her life amidst growing suspicions that there is more to this curse than meets the eye. And the author herself says that Dragon Cursed is brutal fun and that she is packing the stories with twists and turns that will keep readers guessing until the very end. And from her saying those two things, that reminds me very much of Fourth Wing, because that's how I felt about Fourth Wing when I first read it, that it was a lot of fun, but it was like brutal. And also there was twists and turns that just kept me guessing. So I feel like this one has the potential to be really, really good. And the author also says that at its core, it's a story about coming of age, finding your place in the world, the hubris of humanity, the dangers of blind faith, and of course falling in love. Book number 7 comes out on April 1st and is The Notorious Virtue by Alwyn Hamilton. So this book follows two girls who are cousins, Nora and Lottie. Nora is the daughter of the most powerful heiress in the country, and her family controls all the money and all the magic in the entire country. But despite all this, Nora still feels like an outsider. And then you have Lottie, who, up to the start of this book, she has been living at a convent because she is the illegitimate daughter of one of Nora's aunts. However, when Nora's mother is found dead in an alley one day, the throne and her fortune is up for grabs. Doesn't automatically go to Nora. Instead, Nora must face off against her cousins and against Lottie in a magical competition where the prize is her mother's fortune and throne. And that is also when Lottie's mother goes and gets Nora from the convent so she can partake in this magical competition, because Lottie's mother obviously wants the power and the throne for herself. And so these two girls have to navigate this magical competition where they can't trust anyone because everyone wants them dead, because everyone wants the fortune and the throne for themselves. And also throw into the mix that Nora soon finds out that her mother's death wasn't an accident. So now she also is trying to uncover the truth of her mother's death, and the only person that might be able to help her find the answers is a young reporter who hates Nora and her entire family and everything that they stand for. So book number 8 comes out on April 29th, and it's The Floating World by Axie. And this is the same author who wrote The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, which I really enjoyed this one, so I'm excited for this new one. So this is the first book in a series, and it's described as Final Fantasy meets Shadow and Bone in this lighthearted romantic fantasy reimagining the Korean legend of celestial maidens. And so this one seems like it's going to follow two main characters. We have Suno, who lives in the underworld, a land of perpetual darkness, and he is an ex-soldier who can remember little of his life from before 2 years ago when he woke up alone with only his name and his sword. Which that really reminds me of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. And so he's just been doing odd jobs since then to get by in life. And then one day he learns about this job where if he can track down a girl who wields light, then he'll get a whole chest of coins. And so he sets off to try to find this girl because that's like a huge reward that would change his life. And our second main character is Ren, who is a cheerful and spirited acrobat. And she lives with her adopted family, and they travel around putting on performances. However, during one of their performances, this human-like demon ends up attacking the village that they're performing at. And in a moment of fear and rage, Ren ends up releasing a blast of silver light that kills the demon. However, this is a power that she has kept secret from her adopted family, but now they know. And also her use of her magic wasn't in time because even though she did kill the demon, her uncle still gets injured. In order to save her uncle, because demon was poisonous, she sets off to find a cure for him. And on her journey, she ends up running into Sunho. and he doesn't know that she is the girl that he's looking for. And so the two of them begin traveling together, and our story goes from there. Book number 9 comes out on May 20th and is Cruel is the Light by Sophie Clark. And this is the first book in a duology, and this one is described as an epic new fantasy about a demon hunter and a foot soldier thrown together in a centuries-old war and the forbidden love that could change the course of history. So this one looks like it might be dual perspectives because we have two main characters, Celine, who is our exorcist, and Jules, who is our foot soldier. And the two end up crossing paths when they are both trying to figure out what is going on with some demon attacks that have been happening. And right off the bat, they don't get along, they don't like each other, they don't trust each other, but they end up entering into an uneasy alliance to figure out the truth behind all these strange demon attacks that have been happening. And so Jules ends up posing as Celine's estranged fiance, and they go to the Vatican to try to get down to the bottom of what is going on with the demon attacks. And so our story goes from there. So book number 10 and the final book on this list comes out on July 22nd and is Steel and Spellfire by Laura E. Weymouth. And so I'm just going to read the short little description of this one because I think it sums it up pretty nicely. So the description of this one reads, Divine Rivals meets the Witch Haven in this romantic young adult fantasy in which a powerful mage posing as a debutante during the court social season must work with a member of the Royal Guard to catch a killer with powers much like her own. And so just from that brief little description, I am very intrigued. Also, I just love the cover of this one. Like, the cover was what drew me in right away to this book. Alright, so those are 10 YA fantasy books coming out next year in 2025. Let me know down below if you are interested in reading any of these. Let me know if there is a YA fantasy book that you're super excited for that I didn't include on this list. Let me know what that is down below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye!